In this video, I'm going to explain why it doesn't make sense to lower your sense when you overflick and raise it when you underflick. For context, an underflick is when you flick too short of a target, and overflick is when you flick too far. And it seems like a lot of people think they can be fixed by a sense change. The logic behind this is that if you made the same motion, you wouldn't have missed if your sense had been different. It's saying that if you keep underflicking by a certain distance, then you adjust your sense, then you should start hitting that target or at least have a margin of error that perfectly surrounds the target. Now, for this to be true, it requires a very simple assumption that you will continue to make the motion on your new sense. However, this means that your brain would have to be unable to reconsolidate when you change your new sense. We know this isn't true. We have science to prove that when you change your sense, your brain is able to adapt. Now, before I can explain what you actually want to do, I have to ask you to subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and it helps you see more aim training content, and it's just good. Now we have to look at why you were missing shots in the first place, whether it was underflicking or overflicking. It may be because you were out of control and keep passing the targets while moving very quickly. It may be because you were trying to force yourself to be in control and were falling short of targets because of it. These are just two examples. Any specific person will have a specific reason. It may be that you're so fast you're out of control. It could be something completely different. Every person who has an issue has a mechanical flaw or a strategical issue in their aim that requires actual focus and practice to solve. You can't immediately solve your problems with a slight sense change. Your brain will just reconsolidate, and when it does, unless you change something else about how you aim, your issue still exists. You're just doing it on a different sense now. Now, there definitely are some times that you can solve some issues with sense changes. Like if you're on a really high sense, you can't control it, you're focusing really hard on controlling it, and you start underflicking because of how slow you're moving, then a lower sense will make you hit the target on time, and that'll work. However, the very slight sense changes that advocates of raise your sense if you underflick, lower it if you overflick, recommend won't do much. Like if you're changing your sense by 2 centimeters per 360, that will do almost nothing to how your sense feels and how you aim with it. If you overflick on 50, then you'll overflick on 52 unless you change something else about how you aim. What I'm trying to say is that unless changing your sense has some actual mechanical reasoning, then it won't do anything. An underflick or an overflick can be a variety of issues, not one specific issue that can be solved with a sense change. Now, I think that the issue behind this actually came from new players. A lot of them think that you can solve all your issues with a new sense, and people who are new to something tend to be really confident in their ability. This stuff, paired with the fact that all they see is sense guides, has pretty much just generated this idea that if you underflick, you should raise your sense, and if you overflick, you should lower it. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more.